Today, we're going to dive deep into the nature of your memories. We're going to explore how you can actually become the architect of your own personal story. So, let's kick things off with a belief that, let's be honest, most of us hold.
We all kind of think this, right? That our memory is like this perfect, high-definition video camera, just capturing events exactly as they happened, ready for a flawless playback whenever we want.
But what if that entire assumption is just wrong? What if your memories aren't a record of the past at all? What if there's something else, something much, much more interesting? And that is the mind-blowing idea we're diving into. Modern neuroscience is showing us that memory isn't really about historical accuracy. Nope, it's actually a creative story your brain writes to help you survive and navigate what's coming next.
Okay, so let's really unpack this. This is our first big idea. You have to understand that your memory is functional, not historical. Its number one job isn't to perfectly preserve the past. It's to prepare you for the future.
So, what does that mean? Well, when you remember something, your brain isn't just pulling a neat little file out of a cabinet. No way! It's actively rebuilding the event in real time. It's grabbing fragments, patterns, and meanings it stored away, and it's putting them all back together. It's a reconstruction, not a replay.
But why? Why would our brains even evolve this way? The answer is incredibly simple, and it's really powerful. Survival. Your brain's absolute top priority is keeping you safe, and it uses your memory as one of its most critical tools to get that job done.
Now, notice the question the brain doesn't ask. It doesn't care if the memory is 100% accurate down to the last detail. Instead, it's asking, is this useful? A painful memory might get a little exaggerated, a little more dramatic, just to make absolutely sure you avoid a similar danger next time. The goal here is protection, not perfection.
Think of it like this survival algorithm that's constantly running in the background. It's scanning all your experiences, looking for the lessons. You touch a hot stove, right? The memory isn't really about the exact temperature of the coil. It's about the simple, useful lesson. Hey, don't touch that again. It's building this predictive model of the world based on what's going to keep you safe. So, if the brain isn't a video camera, how in the world does it build these stories? Well, think of your brain as a master architect. It takes the raw materials of an experience and it constructs something totally new, something meaningful from them. And this whole construction process follows a pretty cool three-step blueprint. First, your brain compresses the event because, it's way too complex to store every single detail. Second, it fills in the gaps with your own personal beliefs, your assumptions, your worldview. And then third, it builds a coherent story that feels true. And that final story, that's what we call a memory.
This really gets to the heart of the difference. What happens is just raw data. But what you remember, that's a rich story. It's infused with all your feelings, your fears, your hopes, your beliefs. And that's exactly why two people can go through the exact same event and walk away with completely different memories of it.
And get this, these stories are not set in stone. As you grow and change, your brain is constantly renovating your old memories to make sure they align with who you are today. So you don't remember the past as it was, you remember it as you are right now.
Okay, so this is where it all comes together. This is the big so what. If memory is just a construct, that means you're not just a passive member of the audience watching a movie of your life. You actually have an active role to play in how that story gets told.
This is probably the most powerful idea we're going to cover. Let that sink in for a second. You are not a prisoner of some fixed, unchangeable past. You are the editor of your story. Once you really grasp this, it opens up so many new possibilities. It means you can actively look back at a painful event, not to change the facts, but to change the meaning you give it. You can reframe it from a story of failure to a story of resilience, and by doing that, you empower your future instead of letting it limit you. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory. But how do we actually do this? Let's get our hands dirty. Let's walk through a simple, practical framework for renovating those old stories that might be holding you back. All right, here's your editing playbook. Step 1, just identify a memory, a story that feels unhelpful. Step 2, question its original purpose. Ask yourself, how was this story trying to protect me back then? Acknowledge its function. Step 3, reinterpret it. What else could it mean? What other lessons are buried in there? What strengths did you actually discover because of it? And then step 4, choose. Actively choose a new, more empowering narrative to attach to that event.
So really, this is the entire mindset shift we're talking about. We're moving away from seeing memory as this accurate record that traps us, and we're moving towards seeing it as a meaningful story that we can shape for our own survival and our own growth. At the end of the day, your past isn't a place you have to live in, it's a resource you can draw from. It's a collection of stories. And since you are the editor, the only question that really matters is this: what kind of story are you going to choose to write for your future?